What's up, everybody? We are back for week 13. A couple familiar faces and a new face. We're super excited to introduce Jon to this. Last week was another weird week in the NFL. Last week, the Bills and the Bucs were the only two teams that were favored to win with the spread. They were the only two that were supposed to win that won. That left 11 or 12 teams that weren't supposed to win that did. Let's get into this here in just a couple of seconds. But before we do, we're going to tell you who we are, where you can find us. And I'm Matt with Beard Laws. You can find me on Beard Laws on all the social medias.
Brandon J. McDermott. You can follow me all over social media, no matter the platform, at Brandon J. McDermott.
I'm Jon Hoefling, a staff writer for Deadspin. You can also find me on social media at Jon Hoefling. No H.
No H. Find us all, check us all out if you'd like. As always, at the end of it, we're going to give you our 3 locks of the week, a unanimous pick of the week. So if you want, comment in the comments your unanimous or your top 3 picks. Super intrigued. Without further ado, let's get right into this. We're going to open up Thursday night with the Dallas Cowboys traveling to take on the New Orleans Saints. And the Cowboys currently are a 4.5-point favorite on the road.
Maybe this is who the Cowboys really are. They lost a game that no one really wanted to win, it seemed like, an overtime heartbreaker to the Raiders. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games and have had a COVID outbreak this week, which is going to sideline several coaches. The way they're playing, maybe the new look will help them. On the other side, the Saints are losers of 4 straight games and could be starting Taysom Hill, who's like Tim Tebow but with a better arm. I think that they will finally, this will be the game that the Cowboys get it together. I know I said that last week, but I think this is the one. I see them winning, but I don't see them covering here.
Yeah, the Raiders are notorious for playing to their level of competition, right? The Cowboys are still a very good team. The Raiders just happen to play very good football, and the Cowboys just happen to get penalized 28 times for 268 yards. So that's most likely not going to happen against the Saints team, even at home. I don't trust Trevor Siemian, Taysom Hill, or whatever fan they pull out of the stands to play quarterback. The Cowboys are far and away the superior team. They will get it done. But, it's just a weird season. I don't feel comfortable guaranteeing anything at this point.
No, I guarantee you at least, though, it's going to be a watchable game. But as the NFL has been going, the team that are supposed to win, and it should be an obvious pick, they've been losing. So I'm going Saints. What I heard is they're going to get a couple of the best Madden players in the world, and they're going to call the plays for the offense. We'll see how that goes. And if that's the thing that they really do and it takes off, then you heard it here first. Yeah, go ahead.
I will say, I saw a study not too long ago that showed how interim or fill-in coaches do in their first game without the head coach. And interim coaches tend to do remarkably well. They have over a 60% win percentage. So if you're not feeling good about the coaching situation, you have a little faith, I think.
Let's get into Sunday. We got through Friday. We got through Saturday. And now it's time to sit on the couch all day and watch some football. We got Tampa Bay traveling to Atlanta. And Tampa Bay is currently an 11-point road favorite.
This is a big rivalry game down south, believe it or not. The Falcons have been notably awful this year, and the Bucs have been a lot like the Chiefs, just not as good as we expected them to be this year after winning the Super Bowl last year. They did win last week, but have gone 2-2 over the last 4 games. Maybe it's going to click down the stretch here. No matter how bad they played, they're still in first place in that division, and barring a complete and utter bungling of the rest of the year, should sail to the playoffs. But we all know home field advantage is the name of the game, so this game is important for them. That said, 11 is a big number for me. I'm taking the Bucs to win, but the Falcons to keep it closer than 11.
I spend a lot of time on TikTok sports betting, the sports betting side of TikTok. And since 2015, divisional games of more than 10 points, where the line is more than 10 points, the team covers like 85 or something % of the time. Divisional games late in the season always do really, really well. Oh, after week 10, by the way. Divisional games after week 10. Late in the season, things always are close. It's going to be a heated matchup. They've already seen this team once, most likely. I don't know exactly the Falcons' schedule, but most likely they've already seen this team. They know how to combat them. I will take the same thing that Brandon just took. Bucs to win, Falcons to keep it closer.
Tampa Bay just hasn't been able to cover a lot of spreads this year. They're terrible against the spread. They have a pretty decent record. And even last week, they kind of didn't get lucky, but the spread was close enough. And it was a game that they, in my opinion, and we thought last week they should have won 6-7 points. They got the win, and it was enough to cover a very low spread. But 11 points, I just don't see it happening. I like Atlanta here, plus 11. All right, let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals, one of the hottest teams in football. And they're going to take on the Chicago Bears, who have been all over the place. Arizona is a 7.5-point road favorite. There's a theme this week. A lot of road favorites.
This is an intriguing game. The Bears are 4-7, 0-4 at home this year as underdogs, that said. And the Cardinals could be getting Kyler Murray back for this game. However, I see a challenge for the Cardinals from this Bears defense, which isn't as bad as their record indicates. Arizona should win, but again, I'm taking the Bears and the points here.
A very understated aspect of this game is going to be the fact that there are Cliff Kingsbury rumors going on right now that he could leave for Oklahoma. So if those rumors are going around, maybe they're not prepped for this upcoming week, but they had the bye week to prep and everything. I still like Arizona far more than I like Chicago. Justin Fields has not looked like the phenom that I thought he would be in his rookie year. I don't trust him enough, and I'm going to take the Cards minus 7.5.
I think Murray, I think he comes back this week, and I think that they start to click. They're rested up, and I like them here. I think the Bears are terrible. I like Cardinals to cover and win big and start to make that NFC push. Let's talk about another game. This game's intriguing. This should be a pretty good game in my opinion. You have the Los Angeles Chargers traveling to take on Cincinnati, and a home favorite this time. Cincinnati currently is a 3-point favorite at home.
The Chargers just got trounced by the Broncos. Denver made Justin Herbert look a little pedestrian, snagging a pick six, which did put that game away. The Bengals were simply on fire behind Joe Mixon in his career-high 165 and 2 touchdowns. This is going to be a high-scoring affair, and the Bengals will cover, but I'm also focusing on that over-under. If I'm taking that over right now, if it stays at 50.5, where it's currently at.
The Bengals are more inconsistent than chunky peanut butter, but that being said, the Los Angeles Chargers are arguably the worst run defense in the league, and Joe Mixon has a very hot hand. So I do like the over. I think that Cincinnati is going to manage the game phenomenally. A lot of clock management. They're just going to outpace the Chargers, who aren't exactly world beaters right now. There's, of course, Jesse Bates out there in the secondary. If the Chargers do end up needing to sling it down the field, he's going to be able to cover Mike Williams and Keenan Allen all day in the deep territory. So I don't like the Chargers odds here.
I like the Chargers as well. I like a +3. They kind of need this game. I know Cincinnati does as well. Cincinnati, they played a terrible Pittsburgh team, and I'm a Pittsburgh fan. So maybe their confidence is like, yeah, we beat Pittsburgh. I think this is a letdown game for any Cincy fans out there. I like the Chargers to win double digits here and easily cover that spread. Let's talk about Minnesota taking on Detroit. And Minnesota currently, again, another road favorite at 7 points.
That Lions team has reached new lows for ineptitude. They're 0-2-1 over the last 3 games, losing those 2 games by a total of 6 points. I thought last week on Turkey Day was going to be their day to overcome themselves, but alas, Detroit is a different monster. The Vikings have played well and are decent against the spread, so I'm taking them to cover here.
I wrote a piece on Deadspin a few weeks ago talking about how the winless Detroit Lions team were not actually that terrible. I think that they're better than the Texans. I think they're better than the Jets. I think they're better than the Jags. And that was right before their game against the Philadelphia Eagles, where they lost 44-6. So probably the worst time I could have ever done that. But I still hold true to that. It was a bad game for them. But that being said, they've held tough against some very, very, very good teams. Minnesota is better than their record indicates. Kirk Cousins looks awful, but his stats are great. So he can game manage and whatnot. I think the Lions hold the line very well. They keep it a close game, maybe even within a field goal.
This is the one the Detroit Lions win. Kirk Cousins, he lines up behind not even the center. He just lines behind a guard occasionally, doesn't even know where the football is anymore. I'm going to tell you what, Goff played a great game by the numbers last week. He had like 121 quarterback rating. He had a great game. They lost on a last-minute field goal. I think they cover. I like the 7 here. New York Giants at the Miami Dolphins, a game that I don't think any of us want to watch. Let's talk about it. Miami is a 3-point home favorite.
But the Dolphins are quietly playing some good football, winning 4 straight games. They did beat the Texans, Jets, and Panthers. They're no slouch. Meanwhile, the Giants are not as bad as many thought they'd be, winning 3 of their last 5 games, including playing the Chiefs in a tight game. That said, I'm going with the Dolphins to cover here at home.
Yeah, I have the Dolphins as well. Tua has looked moderately better than he has early on in the season. Their game against the Baltimore Ravens, their victory against the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday a few weeks ago, that was my sort of breaking point for the Dolphins. It was my, hey, you can never predict them. The Giants are still bad. They look bad. Even when they held tight with the Chiefs, they looked bad. So the Dolphins have something in them that the Giants don't, in my opinion. Even with Saquon returning, we thought their run game was going to be much better, and he hasn't been anything. So I take the Dolphins to cover here as well.
My gut, again, tells me Dolphins, but it's the NFL. It's unpredictable. So I'm going to go with the Giants. +3. I think maybe having Barkley back a little bit healthier. Plus, if I have to say the 2 quarterback names, I can only pronounce Daniel Jones. So I'm going to go with the Giants based based on those two factors, +3. But let's talk about Jersey, because Philadelphia, they're heading to Jersey to take on the New York Jets. In Philadelphia, again, another road favorite at 6.5 points.
And the Eagles won a high-scoring affair last week with the Saints. Last check, the Jets, well, they're still the Jets. Yeah, they won last week against the Texans, but who hasn't? It's a battle of the rookie QBs, with both these guys struggling as of late. But Jalen Hurts has a higher ceiling and a better chance of going off in a game like this. I'm taking the Eagles to win here in the Garden State.
The New York Jets are atrocious, but that's beside the point. I'm going to go on record here and say that the Philadelphia Eagles are the best team under 500 in the NFL right now. They have been so good lately, and as soon as Sirianni realized, hey, if we run the ball and, open up the play action, Jalen Hurts can be much better. They've run it much more often in the second half of this 13-week schedule, and with that, Jalen Hurts has just exploded. He didn't do too great last week, but against an awful Jets secondary, I expect him to come back. Eagles to cover.
I'm going to go with the Eagles here, too. I think they're, like you said, they're a better team. The Jets, they won last week. Can the Jets win 2 in a row? I don't think there's a chance. So I'm going to go with the Eagles winning big here in New Jersey. Let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts heading to take on the Houston Texans. Again, another road favorite. -8.5 points is where the Colts are at right now.
After a big win over the Titans, the Texans made a big mess in their bed when they lost to the Jets. The Colts are fresh off a tough loss to the reigning Super Bowl champion Bucs, though they've won 3 of their last 4 and are the favorite of mine this year, playing better than many thought they would. I am taking the Colts, but it's going to be a tight game. I'm watching this line this week, but would go with the Texans in the points here.
A few moments ago when I said, hey, division games after week 10, they're always going to be close here. All right, well, I am a big fat liar, because how are they going to stop Jonathan Taylor? How? I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have such a fearsome run defense that some teams just outright don't do it, still allowed 83 yards on the ground and a touchdown to Jonathan Taylor. The Houston Texans are pussycats in comparison. They are not going to be able to stop him. If this was -20, I'd still consider the Colts in this situation.
I'm with you here. The Colts are playing great football. Yeah, their record doesn't show, I think, as good as they are. Colts have a lot of good things going for them. I like them here to cover that 8.5 points on the road. Let's talk about a game that I don't think really a lot of people are going to talk about, but the Washington football team traveling to take on the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Raiders are a home favorite currently at 2.5.
And the Raiders have lost 3 of their last 4 games, but made up for it this last weekend by beating the Cowboys in thrilling fashion in overtime. They are 1 game behind the division leader Chiefs in the messed up, awkward, awful AFC West, and could keep their playoff hopes alive with a win here against the Washington football team. Washington, meanwhile, have won 2 straight games after losing 4 in a row. I'm going to go with the Raiders here to cover that small spread.
If a robber came up to me and said, hey, there's 1 game you have to bet on this week, otherwise, you're done. You're done. This is the last game I would choose, because the Raiders are so unpredictable. Even Taylor Heineke has been unpredictable as well. You never know whether or not he's going to put up 30 fantasy points or 4. With both teams being so inconsistent and both teams playing to their level of competition, I think the Washington football team does so less so, but both teams so inconsistent. I would hate to bet on this game. If I had to, I'd say Raiders cover, but I would never bet on this game for the life of me.
Yeah, I think this is a must avoid. For me, if I got to go with one, I'm going to go with Washington. I think they're the better team. I think they've been a little more consistent towards the end of the year, and I think their defense is starting to kind of take form to what they were supposed to be at the beginning of the year. So I like the Washington football team. Jacksonville Jaguars. And another big spread here. The Los Angeles Rams at home, -12.5.
This is a foregone conclusion, is it not? Well, if this year has shown us anything, it's that anything can happen. The Rams are looking to right that ship after losing last week to the Packers. Y'all know me, I'm a big tummy guy. Sure, I've got a big tummy, but I also trust that gut. That said, the stats I'm looking at here are telling me to go against that gut. Does that mean I'm trusting my gut or I'm not trusting it? I don't know, but the Rams are 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 as the favorite, and the Jags are 4-0 in their last 4 road games as the underdog. So I'm taking the Rams to win, but not by 12.5.
You know, Brandon, I didn't know any of those stats that you just said, and that just furthers my idea. The Rams have not looked like the Rams. When I tell you right now that the Rams are only 1 game ahead of the 49ers, that shocks some people. Absolutely shocks them. So the fact that they're 12.5 point favorites when they really haven't looked like world beaters in the recent weeks just makes me like the Jaguars all the more. I take the points here. I think the Rams win, but I think this is 1 possession game, maybe.
Brandon's gut, maybe it's a little off. Maybe he needs some Pepto. I'm going to go with the Rams. They get things back on track. They practice this week. I think they're going to win big here. I think they do cover the spread at home. Baltimore travels to Pittsburgh. And Baltimore, again, a road favorite. with -3.
The Ravens are one of my favorite teams this year. Tough defense, good running game, and a quarterback who can beat you in a myriad of ways. The Steelers aren't even the best team in their own state. Ben Roethlisberger is about as elusive as a PB&J sandwich, and his arm isn't what it used to be, not by a long shot. And I'm telling you, my gut isn't smart, Matt, but I've learned to trust it. Right now, it's telling me not to have some Pepto, but to eat some pie. In a rivalry game, I'm taking the Steelers to cover.
Wow. All right.
My gut is telling me the exact same thing as Brandon's. The Steelers just know how to get it done. Mike Tomlin knows how to win. We've all heard the stories. He hasn't had a losing season in his entire career. Yeah, and he's also done historically very well against the Ravens, who have been a historically very consistent franchise. So I think that the Steelers have the edge here. They have the edge in the coaching department slightly. I like John Harbaugh, but Mike Tomlin knows how to get it done in divisional games late in the season. Steelers to cover.
Hearing the words Baltimore and a favorite and whatever else came out of Brandon's mouth just about made me throw up as a Steelers fan, just like watching them this year. Pretty clear they need a quarterback. Parts around them, they're beat up. Their defense is beat up. Their line is beat up. I think Baltimore is just the better team, and I think 3 points isn't that unseeable for Baltimore to cover. I'm going Baltimore -3. I think they win by like 40.
You're going to feel watching TJ Watt wreck Alejandro Villanueva all day.
I'll feel good about that. I'll feel good about that.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Niners taking on Seattle. Russell Wilson, who doesn't look like Russell Wilson. Niners, again, a road favorite, -3.
The Deebo Samuel will be a player to watch here as the week progresses. That will go to show where this line actually sits when it comes Sunday. The Seahawks have not been good this year, and the 49ers have been decent as a road favorite, going 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 games. So I'm taking the Niners here to cover.
The 49ers have scored 30 points in every game of their 3-game winning streak. I think we have to watch the entirety of this Monday Night Football game before we realize just how confident we can be in the 49ers, because Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson. He's going to cook if you let him. So as much as I'd like to say as a Niners fan, hey, yeah, they'll crush the Seahawks. I'm dying to hear that be said since 2013. But I just don't feel comfortable yet until I watch him against Washington. When I watch him and he ultimately fails, I'll feel really good about it. San Francisco -3 in the meantime.
Madden said it. Seattle was going to be terrible this year. Russell Wilson, down year. Madden usually knows. So I think the Niners potentially, like you said, depending on the availability of some of their injured players, I think they are the better team, and I like that 3-point spread. So I'm going to go with the Niners -3. All right, let's talk Sunday night. Brandon's Denver Broncos on the road as the underdog, getting 10 points heading into Kansas City.
Well, this game is for all the marbles. Well, at least kind of. Whoever wins this game is going to be in first place of a very tight AFC West. The Broncos are a team that loses games it shouldn't and wins games it shouldn't, like last week against the Chargers and a few weeks ago against the Cowboys. Teddy Bridgewater isn't bad, and when he has a QBR over 100, the Broncos win. They're 5-0 this year when they do that. It's that simple. The Broncos can get that offense going against a bad Chiefs defense. They could win, but I'm taking the Chiefs to win here. But I'm taking the Broncos in the points.
I'm going to go Broncos points as well, Chiefs money line, because Kansas City's just hot, and I never want to bet against Patrick Mahomes, ever. I understand that Teddy Bridgewater, when given the opportunity against a bad defense, which the Chiefs do have, they tend to come out victorious, but the Chiefs are rebuilding that aura they've had in years past where they could score at any given moment. Tyreek Hill has sort of come into focus and is becoming much more consistent than he was early on in the season. And they aren't relying on Travis Kelce as much this year as they have in years past. He's still great, but they haven't relied on him as much, and that makes them more fleshed out as an offense. So I like the Chiefs to win. I like the Broncos points.
Chiefs have always kind of had this bad habit or whatever you might call it where they just kind of come out flat. I think with this Denver team, they need to turn it on from the gates, and I think that they will. I think they realize, wow, this race is way tighter than we want it to be, and I think that they're, and I'm sorry, Brandon, maybe it's because you called Big Ben a peanut butter and jelly or something like that, but I think Kansas City makes this a statement game and wins very easily here, and I like them -10 at home.
Andy Reid after a bye week. Historically one of the best coaches ever with prep time. Like him a lot.
New England Patriots traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Bills are a home favorite, -3.
Should be a great Monday Night Football game against two very good playoff teams. The Patriots, they're hotter than a pancake on the griddle. And the Bills, they haven't been as good as they should have, but there's still time. That said, I think the Pats win, and I think they win here on the road in a surprising fashion.
I think they dominate the Bills in every single aspect of this game. They are the better team right now, and they are one of those teams with Bill Belichick at the helm that doesn't give into the pressure of big game situations. And this is arguably the biggest game of the season for both teams. Bill Belichick is going to have his team ready to go, feeling good. Mac Jones is going to look fantastic even against the Bills' strong secondary. I think Jacoby Myers gets another touchdown, and he never does. That's how much I think the Patriots are going to dominate.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I think the Bills, yes, they've had some terrible games, but I think they are the most complete team in the NFL. Do they always put it together every week? No, but they are a very impressive team on paper, and when they start to put it all together, they are dangerous. But the Buffalo Bills, I think they not only win, but I think they cover this spread. But either way, I hope it is a good game. As you know, if you watch the last couple of weeks, this is the time where we give you 3 of our locks of the week, and then at the end, we're going to give a unanimous pick. Brandon, start us off.
I'm taking the Dolphins to win and to cover, the Eagles to win and to cover, and then also the Patriots to quote-unquote upset the Bills.
My locks of the week are looking very similar. I'm going to take the Eagles to win and cover. I'm going to take the Patriots to win and cover. And then last one, I feel good about my 49ers. They're the second hottest team in the league right now behind the Patriots. I'm going to take them to win and cover against Seattle.
All right, I like it. So I'm going to go Atlanta plus 10.5. I'm going to go Arizona minus 7.5. And I'm going to go Baltimore minus 3 versus Big Ben and his peanut butter and jellies. Our unanimous lock of the week this week that we truly do like is Philly to cover the spread minus 6.5 versus the Jets. Stink. There you have it. That's week 13. Thank you guys very much for watching this. If you would like, again, you guys could check out myself. I'm Beard Laws on all social media.
Brandon J. McDermott, all across social media platforms.
At Jon Hoefling, check me out on Deadspin.
Check them all out, and we greatly appreciate it. We'll see you guys back here next week, week 14. Take care.